Hi everyone. I haven't uploaded any videos in my YouTube channel for quite a long time. It's almost been 6 months, maybe more. My wife and I, we had a daughter, and the preparation for that, and then after the baby came, we had to take care of the babies and stuff, so I couldn't give much attention to the channel. And my daughter obviously is more important than my YouTube channel, and I think it'll always be. And I wanted to upload more as I start the channel. Well, I think in a sense upload a little faster, more videos, but it's okay. We had a lovely daughter, so even if the channel is not growing, I'm very much happy about it because I had a lovely daughter. My daughter is rolling and playing and making all this baby's giggling noise inside at the moment. You may not hear it. So I wanted to talk about today about this one in YouTube channels. I think you may have seen, those who are following YouTubers, about cameras, saying that DSLR is officially dead, which I should say I beg to differ, because there are several reasons, but I'll just give you one or two important reasons which I think is the most important for a person who is using a DSLR, or for many others who is starting out. Okay, let's start with the most so to say the biggest reason. Over the years, many professional photographers, they have accumulated lots of expensive glasses, and glasses, they tend to have more, so to say, longer life than a camera body itself. For example, a prime lens, let's say a Canon 85mm prime lens, would have a longer life than a Canon let's say 5D Mark II or Mark III. And even as the body changes, you can still use the lens. And for professional photographers who've been photographing for many years, they would have accumulated lots of big glasses, expensive glasses. Let's say a portrait or wedding photographers may have accumulated lots of expensive prime lens, or a wildlife photographers might have accumulated lots of telephoto zoom lens or telephoto prime lens, whatever. So those lenses are very, very expensive, and if you have, let's say, even 3 good quality expensive lens, it surpasses the price of the camera body itself, sometimes many times. So for a person to switch to a mirrorless right away like that, it's not easy. And at the same time, if your gears are still working and if you are getting good results, why would I switch to mirrorless? That's the question. And obviously, if those DSLR photographers, let's say those photographers who are using DSLR, if they're still getting good results out of their camera body and lens, I don't think they're going to upgrade it anytime soon, because once you switch to a system, let's say from Canon users to Canon R bodies, mirrorless bodies, then they'll have to switch the lenses too. Okay, yeah, there's an adapter, but adapter, according to many reviewers, are not like the same thing as using your native lens. There's a slight, well, so to say, disadvantage to using an adapter. Well, I think it must be about 80-90% as good as native lens or in its native body, but still, then if you're not getting 100% out of your camera lens, then why would somebody switch to another system? I think at least, let's say I think DSLR will have at least another 5 to 10 years. Nikon recently released the D70T and then D6. I don't know about these 6 months, but from what people are saying, it's a very big disappointment. Maybe that's a clue that Nikon is not going to develop let's say a professional DSLR, but I think whatever they already have, let's say a D5. I think it's going to be in production for quite some time, but I think obviously it'll have to switch to Z system for Nikon or the R system for Canon. And Canon itself, they have said that they're not going to develop a new EF mount lenses. In a sense, development, not as in they're not going to stop production of EF lens, but the amount of R&D to develop EF lens, they're going to concentrate more on the R lens. And I think it will be the same thing for Nikon also, and for most of the big cameras company. But as of now, I don't think they're going to stop production of their DSLR bodies right away like that. The other reason, maybe not so big of a reason, is see, the whole idea of a mirrorless in the beginning is that you have a smaller camera body and so to say very pocketable. But if you see now, then mirrorless cameras are smaller than a professional DSLR, but they are not so smaller. In fact, a lot of the new full frame mirrorless cameras are as almost big as DSLR. Well, not exactly as big as a DSLR, but like if you take the example of Panasonic S18 and so on and so forth, so those are really big mirrorless cameras, and I think there's a reason behind it, which is to say that even if you build your cameras very small, your lenses, by nature of physics, it still has to be of certain size. Maybe you can squeeze it down to some size, but I think if you are making let's say a huge telephoto lens, then physics doesn't allow you to come down to something of a smaller size if you want that good, so to say, professional quality. So what happens is your camera will be front heavy, which is not going to be very comfortable to use. And so the very idea of having a smaller camera body doesn't seem to be there anymore with the modern mirrorless cameras. Of course, there are still other cameras which are much smaller than their counterpart, DSLR counterpart, but if you're going to put a heavy lens, then well, I think it's going to be a problem in terms of balance. So in terms of camera body balance with the, so to say, the lens, DSLR still wins. And I think many of the photographers who are very much looking for a good ergonomic and camera good body balance with their lenses, they're going to stick with DSLR for now. I think Panasonic is moving in the right direction, trying to balance the body camera with a bigger lens. If you think in terms of that, then for many, I think it makes sense to still use a DSLR. By the way, I'm not totally against mirrorless camera. I'm using a mirrorless camera. I'm right now using a Sony A7 III So I don't have anything against mirrorless camera, but what I'm saying is there is both their pros and their cons. So we cannot say that just because mirrorless is developing very fast doesn't mean that DSLR is going to just die away quickly like that. I don't think so. It'll stay alive for some time. So that's about it. Thank you very much. I hope to upload new videos regarding my trip to Ranthambore, which officially is not for a photography trip. It's more like a sightseeing trip, and I'm using the Sony A7 III for that purpose. And I faced lots and lots of problems, so I'm going to update and give a huge, let's say, big complaint about the problem with mirrorless in general, and maybe Sony A7 III in particular. So that's about it. Thank you.